This training video is for weatherization workers to show you how to use EREP to get a weatherization certificate. EREP is the system that will replace Steelworks on October 1st, and this is the system that you will want to come in and obtain those certificates for your eligibility purposes. So the screen that you're looking at right now is the login screen. You should have received a username and password to log in to EREP, and your profile is a view-only profile, so you won't be able to manipulate screens or anything like that, but you will be able to navigate from screen to screen and be able to see what you need to see. So once you have your username and password, go ahead and put that in and then click login. And it'll bring you here to this page. This is what we call the worker home. And you'll want to have a case on hand. So uh, you'll want to click on search person, and you'll want to put in your case number, the case number that that is associated with the customer. If you don't have the case number, you can use a social security number or what we call a PID number. And a PID number is the personal identifier that's given to them through EREP once they're registered. Um, if you don't have a case number, a PID number, or a social security number, you can look them up by first and last name, date of birth, and gender. You'll need to have those four pieces of information in order to find them if you don't have one of these other three types of identifiers, so a case number, PID, or social security number. I'm going to go ahead and use a case number because that's what I have. So once I put the case number in, just click on search. And then if they are known to the system or they've received a benefit, then you'll be able to tell because their information will populate down here. And so this household has 2 members in it. So you'll just need to click on under case detail, just click on one of the household members details and click view. And then this screen just shows you the type of program that they're on, so energy assistance, and then who the owner of the application was or who processed the application. This one says heat worker because that was the profile that I was using to create this case, but it would have the name of the worker here. Okay, and then here is where you would want to click to actually get into the case. Status here is also important because depending on what it says here, will let you know whether this case was approved or not or where it is in the process. So there's a couple of indicators. This one says open. This tells you that a worker has processed the benefits and an editor has approved the benefits. If this status said received, that would mean that the heat worker was still processing the application and the benefits were not approved yet. It would also mean that an editor had not reviewed that case yet. But once this status goes to open, that tells you that the editor has already approved the case or the application. If the status says on hold, that would be an indicator that the worker has approved the application, but the editor has not reviewed it yet. And so I would probably say that open is what you're looking for. And then once the benefit is paid out, because we are moving to a daily payout, and so once the editor approves the application, it will get paid out that same night. Once it gets paid out, the next day, it'll show the status here will show closed. And so closed means that the benefits were paid out, that they were approved and paid out. If the application was denied either by the worker or the editor, then the status here would say denied. So the two statuses that you're looking for would be open or closed. Those would be the indicators that at least the editor has approved them, or closed would be that the benefits are paid out. And then to get into the case itself, click on the case reference number. This will bring you here to this screen called the case home. So this gives you all the detail around the case. The details here kind of show you who the primary individual is. It gives you their address, that kind of information. Under programs, it'll show you what program they currently have registered to their case. So if they had crisis as well, it would show heat and crisis as a separate program. Again, you see the status here as open. They only have heat right now, so that's the program that shows up. And then under case members, it shows you who all the case members are in that household. And so this is a good snapshot of what the case is, who makes up the case, who the household members are. Now, from here, you want to click on Heat under the programs. It's a clickable link. And that will take you to this screen, which is called the Program Home. And here is where you will see, you'll get the information that you need for the certificate. And so again, you'll see the status here is open. What you'll want to do is come here to the vertical toolbar and click on Decisions. And Decisions is basically when a heat worker is processing an application, in order to get to a point where they can approve it, they have to submit all of the evidence or all of the verifications that are associated with the application. And then what they do is they they click on a tab or a link called Check Eligibility. You'll see that right here. The Check Eligibility function goes in and considers all the verifications that were posted to the case, and then it makes a decision. It tells the customer or tells the worker whether or not the application should be approved or not, and why. So this is the Decisions tab gives you a history of how many times they checked eligibility. So you'll want to click on the very top one because that's the most recent. So we'll click there, and then it brings you this objective section here. Just kind of shows you who the household members are again, and then who the vendors are that are getting paid the energy assistance benefit. So in this case, Dominion is getting 50% of the benefit, as you can see here, and then the customer is getting paid directly the other 50%, indicating that they pay for their electricity portion of their utilities as part of their rent. And then from here, you want to click on View Decision Detail. And that brings you here to what we call the benefit calculation screen. And so from here, you'll see there's some information you can gather from here. The household size, the income limit for the household size that's displayed. If you come over to the other side, it'll show you the income amount, how much this household brings in terms of income. And then it'll also show you that the decision for benefits is eligible. So they are eligible. You can tell that they are income eligible because they're below that income limit. And then the total benefit amount paid, it'll show you here as well. The rest of the screens and sections down here just basically walk you through the benefit calculation, how to read the income. So the first section is earned income. The second section is unearned income. The third section is the income test, where it shows you how we disregard 20% of the income, the earned income. Unearned income is also posted. Medical expense deductions, if they are claiming any, are also posted here. The total amount that they're claiming is posted here. And so medical deductions obviously are deducted as well from the total income. And that's how we got the 1131. So. And then if you scroll down a little bit, it shows you a little bit behind the scenes in terms of the benefit formula that we use. And so you can take your time and look through this, but this basically shows you the breakdown of like the income amount that they'll receive or the amount of that they'll receive based on the income portion of the formula. And then this next piece is the energy burden, how we calculate that based on their dwelling type and their fuel type. And then the last part down here is whether they meet any target groups. The three target groups, if there's a member in the household that's disabled, over 60, or under 6, then they would get a target group credit of $150. They can only get one, as you know. So you add all those three sections together, and that's how they get the 461 for this particular case. You'll also see under here, under members living in household, All of the members will be listed. Their birth dates will be given. Their citizenship status will be given. We built this particular table for weatherization so that you could gather the information that you needed. So citizenship is given here. Their age is given here. So this would be an indicator here too if they met the elderly target group or the target group of having a child under 6. And then also target group credit here, if someone in the household was claiming a disability, then it would also show here. You can also see that in parentheses here, it also shows the target group that they meet, that it's disabled. If there were multiple target groups, it would list them out here as well, even though they only get 1 credit. And then the last section down here is the payee payment detail. Again, this just shows you who the vendors are that are being paid um, and the amounts, that kind of a thing. So if you scroll back up, there's a bunch of different tabs up here. I would say the most important tab for weatherization would be the benefit calculation, being able to come in and see behind the scenes. I mean, you can go in here and see what's behind here. If you click on household composition, you'll just see again the members of the household listed. If you click on financial, it'll show you all the financial evidence that was posted to the case if you wanted to see the background. Um, and then non-financial was anything else that's not considered an income evidence. And then case members, again, it kind of shows behind the scenes. You could click on a case member if you wanted to see particular detail. And then view rules, probably not as applicable. But then view PDF is the actual certificate. So this is a printable PDF, and it's basically a snapshot of what you see behind the benefit calculation. So what I just barely showed you. So it's a 2-pager. You'll want to print it out. This would serve as your benefit or your weatherization certificate. There is a section down here used by heat workers to have the customer sign. So you'll just want to disregard this piece. You obviously don't need it, but it's part of the notice because we use it for face-to-face applications as well. So um, this is how you would obtain that certificate. So you come in here, you can either print from here or download it and save it to your desktop and print it from there, however you wanted to do it. But this would be where you would come to find that weatherization certificate. There's a couple other things I wanted to show you just so that you know. So if we go back to case home, and click on evidence, this is what we call the evidence screen, and where a worker comes in and puts in all the evidence associated with the case. And so it's broken down into 4 sections. Household evidence, so all the members of the household should be captured in these evidences here. Um, income evidence, expenses evidence, and then energy assistance evidence. So if you needed to see for some reason, their heat evidence, so this would be, okay, so this is view only, so it looks like it's not going to allow you to go in there, but um, you'll be able to see, I think you'll be able to see medical. Yeah. So you can see medical evidence, and this is where you would be able to come and see what type of medical expenses if you needed to. But if you look at the amounts here, this is the amount, the total amount here that was listed on the benefit calculation, and that was deducted from the gross income as a medical expense. So I think the only other thing too that would be pertinent for you to know is if a customer is showing ineligible because of their alien status, um, then they're probably undocumented. However, if they are a permanent resident, then they should have alien information posted. Now, the way that you could know that that there's evidence in a particular evidence screen is these check marks. So if there's a check mark next to a certain field, that means that there's information behind that field. Right now, there's no information behind the alien screen because there's no check mark there. However, if there was a permanent resident in the household, then there would be a check mark here by alien because they would have to verify their permanent residency, because for heat, they can be eligible if they're a permanent resident. Now, I don't know about weatherization, but um, that might be helpful for you to know that if there was a member in your household that's not a U.S. citizen, you can verify that they're a permanent resident by coming here to the evidence screen and going into the alien evidence and seeing if they truly are a permanent resident. Um, I think that is it. I'm not sure if you can see notes. You can see notes. So if there was a reason for you to come in and see notes that a worker put in, you could come into notes and see that. Um, you would also be able to see, let's go back to the home screen, the program home. If you go under benefit issuance, you'll be able to see when, like what month they received the benefit and how much. Um, I think those are probably the most important parts um, for weatherization, and how to find the weatherization certificate and to print it off, how to look at evidence and see things that you need to verify, I guess. But that's what you would do as a weatherization worker, or someone who is needing to see the weatherization certificate.